Welcome to Good Morning DRC TV, where we bring you information about what is happening in Africa and different countries within the continent. That's what concerns us here, because we want to inform you, those of you who are in the diaspora around the world, that really are keen to know what is happening. And many of you, like I said, may want to hear this information in English, because obviously we are beaming from here, the Democratic Republic of Congo, which is a French-speaking country. Today, we want to focus on what is happening still in Niger. Obviously, there has been some development between the Franco-Niger relationship, if you like. What we have seen recently is that the French president, or the French government, and Macron has finally decided to pull out and pull the army out of Niger. Obviously, that in itself is telling that, somewhat this long relationship is now wrapping up. It's coming to an end. Just simply because the people of Niger no longer want to cooperate or work with the French government, knowing that they have all supported the last regime. And now that there has been a regime change, they want to move forward, they don't want to look back. And then France had to concede, no matter what they did. They didn't want to accept the fact that, obviously, they didn't want to acknowledge, and they still have not acknowledged that, there is a new president. But fact is, there is a new president and there is a new regime. And they had to bow down to that. And doing so, it's taken them a few days to do that. But they've come to a point where they said, look, enough is enough. We have to pull our troops out. What is the relationship between Niger and France going forward? We think here that what is happening is telling of the situation that many African countries that are going through at the moment. That is, people no longer want to support any government that lends its hands from the foreign countries that are basically exploiting and basically looting, and if you like, taking all the natural resources and then just basically enriching the president or the puppets that they have put in place. This is now the view across many countries in Africa. And I believe that so many countries in the Western world are learning and are seeing and can actually, come to the conclusion that, time have evolved, and all those ways and things that they used to do in the past can no longer take place. And here, obviously, we are seeing that, obviously, China and Russia, they are coming in. Like I always say, make no same mistake, having obviously kicked the French out, is saying, okay, now we open our borders to the French and, to the Russians and the Chinese. Now, if we make the same mistake, they will come and do the same thing that they have done. They will colonize Africa again. How big, they won't do it, they'll do it differently. So we need to be aware, we need to understand what are the issues. Now, going back to France and Niger, what we do understand here is that this may be, if you like, the end of the cooperation between these two nations. And we know and understand that obviously, France didn't want to leave and don't want to leave up until now, because they're saying to themselves, look, if they're having all these problems in the countries that they've been in, they've had problems in Niger, they have problems in Mali, and they have problems in Gabon. So, where are they going to go? I mean, it is really proving very difficult for France. And it is such a lasting legacy for Macron. And I just think that, this is something that he will never forget. His predecessors always advised him to kind of like, know how to manage and to deal with African countries, because such is where they get their, if you like, raw material from. And it is the African nations that allow most of these, industrial nations to be moving forward and doing what they are doing. So, but we don't know what happened, but it just seems like Macron is just is made from different material, and he obviously has his style and policies and way of doing things that somehow has come to a halt and has brought the situation to where it is at the moment. We shall see, how things move forward. But right now, it isn't actually looking good for France, and they just have to bow down to the people's will. And this is basically what we're seeing happen in Niger. But let's just hope that, the incumbent, president, or the transition president, is actually going to do something good for his own people, because this is what it's all about around the nations of Africa. And we keep saying this, that people need to understand you don't have to look forward to outsiders to support you or to put you in power. You have to gain your votes and your power from the people that you're supposed to be serving. Now, if you're doing good, if you're serving the people, if you are supplying and meeting their needs, I don't see no reason why they wouldn't support you. Of course they will support you. And then if the people are actually having access to employment, to health, to education, and all the basic necessities of life, and people have opportunities to make a better living, I don't see why they will want to if you like leave their country or go elsewhere or want to change president. I mean, it is democracy. But all we're saying is that leaders need to understand they don't need to impress other people. They can only impress their own people if they want long-lasting sort of relationship between them and the people. Because right now it is going to be very, very difficult for any foreign country or government to support any despot or puppet by force, because it's the day that we live in. People have access to information, and the young people of today, obviously, they've had enough, especially in the nations of Africa and everything that has, if you like, transpired, all these centuries and decades. It's no longer viable. It's no longer sustainable in this newly democracies. And this is something that, we want you to know, that the kind of Franco-Niger relationship has come to an end, and this is a new era, and Niger is moving into a new era, and we wish them the best. And I hope that the new president will do all he can to uplift the standard of living and obviously give equal access to its people so they can find employment and then better themselves. And then France will have to do without Niger, and hopefully they will learn a few lessons out of this and know how to live with people in the future. This is what we had for you today, and please just look out for our next video. And if it does interest you to see what is happening in the DRC, then there are so many videos and that we are posting, and we'll continue to post, especially because now we're coming close to the election. If you like the content of this video, please do subscribe if you haven't yet. It is very, very important that you subscribe, because it will help us to stay and to do what we are currently doing. Send this links to the people families and members, and give us your comment, and then we'll get back to you with more content of this kind. Thank you so much. For now, we want to say goodbye and see you next time. Take care. Bye-bye for now.